You had to go through all of that so that you could change the world, dude.
Really, I don't see that. I don't know.
You don't realize how many lives you're changing, saving, because of who you are and what you've been through and how you're willing to speak about it now.
The most feared box office era, yet also a figure whose life was defined by rise, fall and redemption. Behind the ferocious punches and intimidating persona lies a much darker psychological reality forged by childhood trauma. On my Analyst, we're exploring the troubling psychology that made Mike Tyson quite literally the baddest man on the planet. Now honestly, this guy does not need an introduction, but here is just a brief intro. Mike was born in 1966 into a life of poverty in the Brownsville neighborhood of Brooklyn.
It was so dangerous. I'm talking about gangs. I'm talking about girls disappearing. I'm talking about dead bodies being found in vacant lots. You know, at 10 o'clock in the morning.
His father left the family when Mike was just 2 years old, and his mother struggled with severe alcoholism and depression. By his own admission, Tyson didn't have his first fight until the age of 10, when he had to beat up an older kid because the kid stole his fucking pigeons. That's pretty crazy. Now, the constant pattern of petty crimes and fighting led to multiple arrests and institutional placements from ages from 10 to 13, including the time he spent in the infamous try-in school for boys. Mike fell under the influence of older kids on the block and the street culture in the rough neighborhood. As Dr. Eleanor Williams explains, experiencing neglect and instability in violent homes creates conditions for developing trauma, anger, attachment and behavioral issues in children. Now this was clearly what Mike Tyson was suffering from. A journal published by the Canadian family physician in 2013 notes indicators of abuse can include fear of authority, excessive aggression, depression, poor hygiene, sexual behaviors, and academic decline. Young Mike Tyson fits most, if not all, of these indicators. Tyson grew up in a low-income, high-crime neighborhood and was exposed to violence and criminal activity from a very young age. Tyson was frequently bullied and sexually assaulted as a child. The study highlights how physical and sexual abuse during childhood is linked to behavioral issues, attachment problems, PTSD and other psychological disorders later in life. Mike's mother struggled with alcoholism and drug addiction, and his father abandoned the family when Mike was very young. The study emphasizes the importance of a stable, nurturing relationship for healthy child development, all of the things young Mike Tyson didn't have. Tyson had experienced multiple profound, adverse childhood experiences, proven to contribute to psychological issues if not treated properly. From very early on, Tyson developed and displayed unmatched mental psyche and psychological anger in the ring, something D'Amato recognized. His opponent Trevor Berbick said, "When he hits you, you feel like you're being hit by a train." Sports psychology experts note how through locked eye contact, posturing, and intimidating behavior, Tyson instilled fear and psychological inferiority in opponents before the first punch even landed. Tyson acknowledged intentionally leveraging this psychological warfare, coldly stating, "I want to rip the heart out and show it to them before they die." I mean, this dude was a complete menace in his prime. Despite projecting pure bravado and ferocity, Tyson has been open about experiencing his trauma, insecurity and mental health struggles beneath the whole Iron Mike persona. He's often spoke about suicidal periods, even at the peaks of his career. Mike Tyson exhibited signs of complex trauma, PTSD tendencies and struggles with toxic masculinity beliefs, all rooted in his childhood adversity and attachment issues. Mike's chaotic personal life seemed to reflect the interior conflict between extreme personas, the brutal intimidation in the ring versus the emotionally insecure man struggling with healthy intimacy, relationships and impulse control outside of it. Mike Tyson showed immense vulnerability whilst describing his loneliness and emotional damage. As Mike Tyson once said, "I'm just really not that kind of tough guy. I'm just a scared little boy inside." I think that speaks volume to who he actually is and what he's perceived to be. Yes, we know him as that killer, but deep down, he doesn't feel that way.
Because sometimes I feel like a bitch. Because I don't want that person to come out, because if he comes out, hell is coming with him.
Tragically, the same intense aggression Mike Tyson had in the ring and the lack of emotional control that powered Tyson's career also kind of derailed it. Through his rage-fueled controversies and criminal conviction, his psychology of intimidation bled into domestic abuse, sexual assault, and substance abuse, and other kind of issues. However, following his fall from grace, Tyson began intensive therapy to address his traumas and psychological demons head-on. In recent years, he's been remarkably candid about his personal struggles and journey. What makes his story so captivating is seeing the lasting impacts of childhood trauma laid so bare through his contradictions, the ferocious psychological intensity that made him unbeatable as a fighter, simultaneously left him too emotionally damaged to exist peacefully outside the ring. In the end, Mike Tyson proved as formidable an opponent to his own deep psychological scars as any boxer who stepped through the ropes. His story underscores how the darkest of beginnings can shape even the most intimidating personas. Before I get the hell out of here, let me know in the comments below if you think him fighting Jake Paul is actually a good idea and what the results are going to be.